So yesterday I spoke about what's next in my writing career, and today I'm going to make a video. I'm not sure if anybody is remotely interested in how I intend to make that happen. Stay tuned. Hey, it is me, and I'm making a video that I don't know if anybody has any interest in whatsoever, but I thought it was important to make because it's important to hold myself accountable. I spoke in my last video about how I want to make 2022 the biggest year yet for my writing career, and I'm going to take you along for the ride. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. And I have a strategy, I have a plan in place, and I'm going to very briefly outline that. But I think the first things we need to talk about before I go into those details are what does it mean to be a successful writer? What are my ambitions in terms of getting where I want to be, hitting it up to the next level in 2022? And before you even begin on a journey like this, setting an endpoint in the distance, I think, is vitally important, especially for writers. So many people are like, oh, I need to write a book, and they write a book and they struggle to get it traditionally published, or they self-publish it and it doesn't do quite as well as they want it to, and they feel this sense of disappointment. But sometimes their books can be reasonably successful and they feel a sense of disappointment because they didn't set in their mind what it was they wanted to achieve by writing this book. And people approach writing and publishing books for many different reasons. But if you don't establish ahead of time what your criteria for success is, you're never going to achieve it. The whole idea of writing a book is to fill some existential void inside your heart. Or is it to earn money? Decide what your reason for doing this is, and decide what your criteria for success is. There are some people I know who still very much believe in traditional publishing, and to them their criteria for success was getting their book published by a traditional publisher. For me, I'm a little more pragmatic. So in 2022, my goals for getting to the next level in my writing career, the first one is to get back to where I was at the height of my career, which was for extended periods of time, months at a time, I was earning more than $10,000 a month from book sales alone. And that's somewhere I've been. Life kind of got in the way, and the goalposts at Amazon have changed, so I dipped down, and I've been doing other stuff in the meantime. But that is a level that I have been at before. There are other authors right now at that level, and clearly, if I've been there before and people are still earning that much money, I can get there again. There is no excuse for me not getting there again. However, I have slightly loftier ambitions than just getting there again through a system of like rapid release or anything like that. I want to leverage the hard work that I've already put into this. I've been self-publishing for 7 years. I have been writing since I was 9 years old. I have written and published 31 books under Simone Scarlett's name alone. I want to start having all of that hard work for me. So Amazon moving the goalposts, knocked a lot of us blindside, but that actually is something that I'm now going to use to my advantage, because I know that using advertising, I can advertise my books to potential readers. I know that my books are good enough that potential readers will buy them in numbers sufficient that I can make a profit. And so therefore, I want to use advertising to advertise my existing catalogue of books and earn myself $10,000 a month or more in book sales after expenses or costs. That's stage one of success, and I think I can get there, and I'll take you along for the ride. It's time for another video about that. But the second one is, I didn't become a writer just to write books under another name. Since I was 9 years old, I wanted to be a writer. And I've been writing adventure stories since I was a teenager. And I think it's about time that I really became who I have wanted to be since I was 9 years old, which is a respected and acknowledged author under my own name. I've done the groundwork. I think I've earned this, and so this is a point where I have to start getting serious about writing and publishing books under my own name. I need to get serious about republishing some of the knuckleheads books that I really truly believe are like romance books that appeal to both genders under my own name. I need to use the techniques and things that I've learned to be successful under Simone Scarlett, I need to use those under Roland Hume. I want to be, under my own name, Roland Hume, who I actually am, writing stories I want to tell, a best-selling author. In fact, I have a lofty goal, because why not have a lofty goal? I want to be a New York Times best-selling author, and I might not hit that goal in 2022, but I can get there. I know I can, because like all things in this universe, achieving the goal of becoming a New York Times best-selling author is simply a question of mathematics. To become a New York Times best-selling author, you have to have a widely distributed book, which means it can't be exclusive to Amazon. You need it in bookshops and other places like that, to sell approximately 5,000 copies during the span of 1 week. And that is generally enough to get you onto the New York Times bestseller list. And as I said, it's just a question of mathematics. If I'm writing and publishing books that are good enough to appeal to an audience in a way that I can make profit from through advertising, then a significant enough investment in advertising, even if it's not profitable, will ultimately put your book in front of enough people for them to make you a New York Times best-selling author, if your book deserves to be. You can put dog shit in front of people and they won't buy it. So you have to write a book that deserves to be a New York Times best-selling book, or have a book in your catalogue that already is worthy of being a New York Times best-selling book. But it has to be that good, and then you just have to show it to enough people. So it's a mathematical equation, and that's how they do it. I mean, Donald Trump, his team bought, I think it was something ridiculous, like 500,000 copies of his book to make it a New York Times best-selling book. I think when you're buying your own book, that's sketchy as hell. But if you're advertising your book and promoting your book, and your book's good enough for people to actually buy it, yeah, full on you. So, Roland Hume, New York Times best-selling author. See that coming. Because imagine that. At some point, we all die, and, you know, when my kids have kids and they say, well, what was Grandpa? And they Wikipedia my name. It'd be great if it was Roland Hume was a New York Times best-selling author of romantic suspense and action-adventure novels. Wouldn't that be great? So, those are my 2 criteria for success. And how am I going to achieve those? Well, I like to come up with projects and operations and things, because it always sounds James Bondy. So I have 3 in mind to achieve my goals. And the great thing is, this is a process. So I know what to do. All I need to do is do the process, and the results should happen for themselves. Which is kind of empowering. You realize all you need to do is do the work. If you enjoy doing the work, that's even better. The first one is what I call Project Maxwell's Demon. This is the cornerstone of what I'm trying to achieve. Project Maxwell's Demon. I call it Project Maxwell's Demon because it's based on the concept of a perpetual motion machine. Maxwell's Demon was a thought experiment that would hypothetically violate the second law of thermodynamics, as in the whole idea of you can't have a perpetual motion machine because thermodynamics will always end up draining off the energy. It was proposed by the physicist James Clerk Maxwell in 1867, and its first letter Maxwell called the demon a finite being, while the demon name was first used by Lord Kelvin. What the hell are we talking about? Why am I talking about Maxwell's demon? Well, Maxwell's demon was a thought experiment about, hey, what if you were boiling water and you had a demon, as in some magical creature, that would let fast moving molecules through one door and slower moving molecules through another door. So in a second chamber, one chamber would permanently heat up and the other chamber would permanently cool down, breaking the laws of physics and creating a machine that would operate itself. I don't really understand any of it. I probably completely mangled the explanation there, but I kind of liked the whole idea of it. What I want to do is taking my existing catalogue of books, especially the core series I have, the Knuckleheads Motorcycle Club. I want to jumpstart, kickstart, ignite an advertising campaign that is successful enough to pay for itself, and not only that, to also generate profit. And so like a perpetual motion machine, I trigger this, and I have to trigger it over the course of 90 days. There's this thing called the 90-day cliff with Amazon, where you get paid 60 days after month's end. So if I invest in a month of advertising I have a whole other month until I get paid for the book sales that were generated during that first month. So you basically need to kickstart your advertising campaign with 2 to 3 months of advertising you pay for out of profit, and at the end of that, the goal is that the royalties you will have generated through advertising will then pay to continue the advertising. It's interesting. It's a good idea, and my idea is to ignite a perpetual motion machine that will pay for itself in terms of advertising and grow, as in generate a profit, and that will create for me a stream of revenue from my existing catalogue of books, and any I add to that catalogue of books, of $10,000 a month in profit. So I want a machine that will pay for its own advertising and generate me $10,000 a month in profit per month. And yeah, that's it. That's Project Maxwell's Demon. That is the lofty goal, and I'm going to make a whole video about that in the future. But that's where it all begins and ends. Because can you imagine what an opportunity that would be if I can leverage my existing catalogue of books to bring in a very healthy income, and then I can focus on the other things I want to do in terms of my writing career. So it begins and ends with Project Maxwell's Demon. But next we have Operation Golden Typewriter. Oh, I love coming up with these. I'm such a pretentious wanker, I really am. What is Operation Golden Typewriter? Well, Golden Typewriter. Ian Fleming had a golden typewriter. Good on him. I'm going to write every single day, because I've had writer's block for quite a while. This is the last book I published, and Alex pointed it out in my last video. Yeah. I published this June 28th, 2021, as in last year. And I've started like 4 books since then and kind of fizzled out and had writer's block. So I need to be really super disciplined about writing, and so I need to write every single day. Unfortunately, I have created a situation in my life now where I have the opportunity to make that happen. So once again, it's all on me. I've given myself that time every single day to do this, and so if I don't do this, it's on me. It's my responsibility. That's why I'm making this video in some ways, because I need to be accountable for this. And the nice thing is, I have so many books already in my head that really, like, there's no excuse for not writing every single day. It's not like I have to invent something to write about. In fact, just look at this list, okay? These are the books that I've already got, like, plotted out in my head. The Biker and the Brat, that's a steamy romance. Satin and Seal, Queen Bee and Coil, Whisper and Wolf, The Bride of the Biker Club. Oh, that's finishing off this arc I've got in my Biker Club series. Then there's Gemini and Jackson, Hung Like a Horse. I like that title. Junkyard Dog, Falkendale, and then Mission to Mumbai. Those are all more books in the Knucklehead series. I've got like 10 books in the Knucklehead series that I'm really excited about writing, and I just haven't been doing it because I've lacked the inspiration to do so. And now I'm rekindling that inspiration. Beyond that, I have my James Bond homage series, which has nothing to do with James Bond, but they're spy thrillers. That each one is going to be a homage to one of the James Bond films. It starts off with The Girl with the Golden Nose, which I've written quite a fair amount of. I want to write those. And that's 25 books I want to write. And I'm really excited about that. I've even been chatting to Sean Longmore, who's this amazing artist, about maybe doing the covers, which, oh, that'd be cool. I want to write an adventure story for myself. It's called Our Man from IT, and it's going to be a story about Adventure Ready, the guy I invented when I was in my 20s and wrote a couple of stories about. Imagine what he's getting up to in his 40s. But especially, there's a bunch of stuff that I went through that I want to turn into an adventure story in like a completely pretentious wanker way. But that's okay. Look, if I've written all the other books that I've just listed, I'm allowed to write a dumb book for myself. Don't judge me, okay? It's going to be fun. And then, like, my book I really love, High Point. The thing is, I can't, you know, it's a really cool adventure story. I can't give it to my kids to read because it's got a lot of sex in it. A lot of sex. So, I actually had this crazy idea of writing like a young adult version of it from Marty's point of view. Which I thought could be quite fun. Because I'm not done with the High Point yet. Sometimes I chat to the guy who actually owns the High Point. And I'm going to be travelling quite a lot to the West Coast. So I hope this year to actually stand on the deck of the USS High Point. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? Right. And then I've got another kid's book called How to Be a Spy, which is going to be like a comic style book. There's an artist I want to employ to do that. So I've got a ton of stuff I want to write. And the only thing I need to do is write it. And that means I need to do the discipline of writing every single day. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day how long these things take you. You just turn up for work every single day. And my philosophy, it's funny, I call this golden typewriter. Ian Fleming was like, oh, I write 2,000 words a day and then bugger off to the beach or whatever. And that's actually true. I think as a writer, you have 2,000 good words new every single day. You just like out once you get into the rhythm. You shouldn't push to do more than that. I used to try and push to do 5,000 words a day, and you burn yourself out doing that. I remember I was going to miss a deadline for ARC for High Point, so I took a bunch of Adderall and I stayed up for 76 hours straight and wrote 30,000 words, and it was like a lucid dream, and they actually turned out to be pretty good, but I do not recommend that. I slept for like 3 days straight afterwards. So 2,000 words a day in the morning, and then you go about your day and do your stuff, and you can percolate the ideas for the next morning going through. It's a very organic process. When you start writing and you get into that flow state, and then you write what you want, and then your brain's like, okay, slow it down, and you come out of that flow state, and it's almost like sex, to be honest. You just want a cigarette afterwards. You're like, ah, shall I take a walk with the dog, smoke a cigarette, I feel spent. And that's good. And then you start thinking about what you're going to write the next day. It's a beautiful way to live. And the only thing stopping me is me. But mate, I've sorted your life out to give you the opportunity to do this, so don't fuck it up. There. And if I just followed the process of successful self-publishing, I made a course about this. So you publish a book on Amazon, now what? Yeah, if I follow that same process, I will achieve some level of success regardless. And that's it. I used to be so fixated on the results. Like, oh my God, if this book isn't a bestseller, I'm not going to be able to pay my mortgage. If this book isn't a bestseller, I'm not in that situation right now. I can do this for the sheer joy of doing it. And I can do it right and to the highest standards. And if I do that, there is no way that, how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14 books. If I write and publish 14 books to the high standard that I publish books to, and I use the process of successful self-publishing that I know so well, I even created a course about it, there is no way that I am not going to move the needle. 14 books is going to make things happen. So I just keep up with Operation Golden Typewriter, and I write every single day, and baby thing is going to happen. And on those same things, I didn't come up with an operation for this, but my whole mission of like taking my biker books with their like steamy covers and turning them into covers for men, and having his and hers copies and slapping that together as like a his and hers package. That's something I want to do. So, and that's going to be fun. Oh my God. I really liked coming up with a cover for this book. I love doing a bit of Photoshop. And I printed this in gloss, should have done it in matte. But yeah, it's fun. And I did one for No Way Out, my first biker book, and it looks great. And I just published Sold to the Cartel, and it's got like a Toyota Hilux with someone holding onto the hood and someone firing a machine gun. It's fun. I get to do those covers for the next 10 books in my series. Oh, it's going to be so fun. And then I get to publish those under my own name and go through the same process that I did when they were published originally. And with that, I've got 10 books I'm going to publish under my own name. And again, things are going to end up happening no matter what. If I follow the process of successful self-publishing with these 10 books that I've already written, I just put them, you know, with the spin that I'm trying to fulfill this whole thing of bringing female books and male books together. If I do that, things are going to happen. Things are going to happen. I don't know what those things are, but that's okay. I'm just here for the ride. I'm just here for the ride. And speaking of that, comes on to the third and final operation, my current strategy, which I call Operation The Sheer Fucking Audacity. And you know what? That's me. I'm going to have a sip of beer now. The sheer fucking audacity. And what is the sheer fucking audacity? Well, that's the whole audacious thing of me, just being me, some bloke, deciding I'm going to be a New York Times best-selling author. I'm going to make tons of money from book royalties. I'm going to have a fantastic time writing and publishing the books I love. And that's what I'm going to do. It's the secret to being a successful self-published author. 2 ingredients. Stubbornness. I told you, I've been writing since I was 9 years old. I've been doing this self-publishing thing for the last 7 years, 8 years now, almost. I have had wild highs, but crushing lows. And the one thing I never, ever, ever did was give up. I never gave up. And I'm still not giving up now. I mean, I had a lull. I had this writer's block, this impasse, but it was only ever an obstacle. I was always going to get over it, because I always get over every single obstacle that's thrown inside me, because I'm bloody stubborn. Yeah, Scots blood runs through my veins, and there's nobody more stubborn than us Scotsmen. So yeah, stubbornness, the first and most important thing. And as I said, if I write the next 14 books that I've outlined, if I publish the next 10 books in my biker series with Clive Cussler style covers, things are going to happen. I just have to be stubborn enough to do it. But the second one, audaciousness. You have to have the audacity to wake up in the morning and be like, you know what? There are only a handful of people who are ever going to be New York Times best-selling authors, but I'm going to be one of them. Just, can you imagine the audacity of just some bloke like me saying, I'm going to write a bunch of books, and I'm going to make a ton of money, and I'm going to be a New York Times bestseller because I deserve it. And that's the audacity. It's this rare thing that writers exist right in that Venn diagram cusp between crushing insecurity and raging narcissism. And you know what? I'm just going to lean into it. I'm going to have fun with it. Because I write stories that are fun and I enjoy, and they're steamy and exciting, and sometimes they're controversial. And just recently it's been wonderful. I've been having some members of the Bond community saying that they read High Point and how much they enjoyed it. And I'm like, this is amazing. What an amazing thing. I still can't get over it. I told you, I've sold 67,000 copies of my books. Still can't get over just the sheer privilege of another human being reading my books. And I can do better by them in terms of writing better books and coming up with better ideas. Always want to be improving. As Hemingway said, we are all apprentices in a craft in which no one becomes a master, but I'm going to continue improving. But also, I'm just going to lean into it. I'm going to lean into it. And for example, you know, I love printing paperbacks of my books. The majority of my book sales are always ebooks, but I love printing the paperbacks. And this year, I'm going to do something completely bonkers. I'm going to find out all of the local events, the car meets and the car shows and things that I enjoy going to anyway, and I'm going to book a booth or a table at those events, and I'm going to go with a bunch of paperbacks and I'm going to sell them. Like $20 a piece. There we go. So that means it pays for me to do it. I don't make a profit of any significance, but I go there and I get to meet people and maybe sell a few books and learn about them. And I'm going to go to car meets and bike shows and stuff because I like to write about books about bikes and I like to write about bikers. So it's an opportunity to meet bikers and people who are enthusiastic about bikes. And that's exciting. And that's audacious. Who the fuck am I to think that I can go around to bike shows and sell copies of my books? Well, I'm me. I'm going to do it. Same thing, when I write books now and publish them, I'm going to have book launches. Why not? Start going around for the local bookstores. And this is a controversial topic, of course, because bookstores don't like me because I self-publish with Amazon and I produce paperbacks through Amazon and things, and bookstores really get left out of that whole thing. They get screwed by it. So I have to figure out how to do this, but I would like to have book launches. When I publish a book, I can have a book launch at some place, and I'll have a few bottles of wine and I'll sign a few books that I might even have to hand out because maybe nobody wants to buy them. But again, I'm a writer. I've never really done that before. But I'm a successful writer, so I deserve to do that. And maybe I'm being a pretentious wanker. Maybe I'm being a raging narcissist. But why not? Be fun. Be fun. I want to make and sell merchandise. Oh, I've got this, my friend Nikki, she's an amazing cosplayer. She designed the original Knuckleheads logo. And I'm going to get her to do the logo of Knucklehead's Garage, which is the fictional TV show of my series. We're going to make merch. We're going to have t-shirts. We'll do a photo shoot, get some of my friends to model the t-shirts and sell them on the Knuckleheads website. I'm going to really lean into the mailing list I have, the 3,000 subscribers for my Knuckleheads books, and start making that more vibrant and exciting and communicative. Really lean into social media. I want to start making videos and trailers and pitches for my shows and my books. I want to get them picked up. It's a Netflix show or an Amazon Prime series or something like that. Again, it's the sheer fucking audacity of it. Like I'm almost cringe as I hear myself say these things, but coming up with wild and lofty goals like that is the only way people ever achieve wild and lofty goals like that. Maybe I'm going to miss. And maybe I'm going to miss by a mile. But at the end of the day, just trying is going to get me further than not trying is. And yeah, you're a long time dead. And whatever impact or legacy you have in this world lasts a very brief amount of time. So why not do something about it? Why should I pretend to be less when I know I could be more? So that's it. I wrote down here on my little list, my thing. I'm going to go absolute fucking nuts. I'm just going to lean into it and love it. My name is Roland Hume, and I create stories that I'm passionate about, and I want to share them with the world. And I want to have fun doing it, and make friends, and go places, and do things, and just make the most of this life, this one life we have. And I think one of the biggest hesitations to that is the whole thing of being like, oh, that's so selfish. That's so selfish of you, Roland. You're going to dedicate your life to your own dreams of being a famous writer or something. That's terribly, terribly selfish. And it's like, maybe it is, but there's this whole idea, this objectivist idea of rational selfishness. If I focus and achieve my ambitions and become successful, I will demonstrate to my kids that if you have dreams and ambitions and you focus on them, you can achieve them. And my kids will grow up knowing that and achieve their own goals, and their kids will learn from example. Being successful about what you are passionate in is the best thing you can do for your kids. I really believe that, because you teach your kids that whatever they want in life, they can get. And if you don't have the sheer fucking audacity to go for it, then the lesson you're teaching your kids is you're not going to achieve your dreams. It's not even worth trying. So there. Even if I crash and burn and fail, well, even that in itself will be an exciting story. As I said, we're a long time dead. We only get one life to live. And the thing about the really crushing lows is they are in themselves the most important part of a story. You cannot have a story without conflict. You can't have a story without your hero or heroine being brought down to their knees, because they need to rise and have their happy ever after. And yeah, I'm feeling bold and audacious, and I want to really lean into my writing career this year and for the future, and become a version of myself that I'm almost scared to think about. Somebody who achieves things that would have only been a dream to me in my past. So let's get her done. I'm going to make some more videos about this. I don't know if anybody's even going to watch this, just me rambling like some kind of crazy person, but maybe I am a crazy person. I don't know. Anyway, I will catch up with you later. Ciao. I'm Roland Hume. I've sold 67,000 copies of my books. If you want to find out how I did it, I've got the link right here you can click. And otherwise, don't forget to subscribe. I've got more videos coming soon. Thank you.